I started the string with the document on the thing again.
No.
That's fine. Amateur hour over here, and that D&D land. Hi, everybody. Hi, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. It's Mike J. Darkson Berard here, GM Mike, if you like, for another episode of that D&D podcast. Today we are continuing our diversion into City of Mists with our newly named group, Motor City Mystics. We have a slightly abbreviated crew here. Why don't we go ahead and introduce ourselves in members only order? I guess that's Rob first.
Hi, I'm Rob. I'm first. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I am going to be playing one of the lost twins in this game. I'm pretty excited about that. Zach and I have not talked about this at all, so it's going to be manic.
Hi, I am Jonathan. I will be playing Joe Owens tonight, who is completely and totally innocent and never a source of problems.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'll be playing the newly named Roland Caballero, and
I like it.
and we'll be seeing how he goes because I'm playing yet another conflicted swordsman. Apparently,
It's a look.
yeah, that's the thing.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I'm playing the other half of our high schooler sisterhood. I'm Annie Wong, the charter member of the school yearbook club slash newspaper reporter slash chosen of the magical sky luck beast
slash noble luck horse, right?
Yes.
All right, so everybody, we're going to switch over to the Roll20 interface. So you're going to miss our faces because I am not skilled enough to crop these little things out of Discord and put them in Roll20. So through the magic of the internet, you now see Roll20. All right. So this is where we left off last time. We have a little bit of information about all of our characters. We have a little bit of information about the crew. We have a little bit of information about what our City of Mist looks like. As a brief recap, Andrew, who is playing Sir not appearing in this episode, is the character's name is over here someplace.
William Fraser.
Sure enough. And their touchstones are a specific poet, the muse that inspired Robert W. Service, the soul of the Yukon Muse, I guess is what that is. And that sort of worked. Oh no, I need some sort of CSS going on here. Okay. And it says that he's in a relationship with Anne, so we'll have to figure that out. We drew Justice. I don't know which. I forgot which card it is. I should have written this down here. Which is a tarot card for y'all?
That's the Emperor.
Emperor.
No, because I've never played Persona.
And oh man, I get to shuffle these wonderful cards again. Yay! Let's see. Next, we have Jonathan, I believe, who is playing Joe Owens, heiress of the Golden Apple, the goddess of discord. And he's playing Joe Owens. I think I said that already. Actually, why don't you introduce your character? That's way smarter.
Yeah, Joe is, that kind of geeky, not geeky, but how do I want to say that? What's the proper term of derision for a drama kid? Is it just drama kid? They're the president of the drama club, everybody's friend, everybody likes them. The card that I drew when I was making them was the devil inverted. The devil normally means you're bound and restricted by something. The inverted means you're free of it. In this case, it was my best friend who has disappeared, which is not ominous at all.
Rob, why don't you go next?
So Kimmy and her family were sundered thanks to the tower, which represents upheaval and change. And I think we decided that Kimmy didn't lose her entire family. She still has one of the older brothers, but as far as she is aware, that is her only family. And as far as her sister is aware, she's missing members of her family. There's a hole where there shouldn't be one. So we use the tower for both of us, I guess.
Yeah, we definitely built off your tower. I got the lovers, so that threw me in a whole different direction too. I mean, just for brevity's sake and to flow, I'm playing Annie Wong, who is the sister of Rob's character, and I wound up at a very different new slash fake slash really real this time family. I've decided it's somewhat more upscale and fairly well to do. And I remember Rob's character, whose name I'm blanking on off the top of my head. Winnie? Kimmy. I remember Kimmy, and I remember our older brother. Our older brother's missing, right? Am I remembering that correctly? At least
the setup that we have now is that Kimmy and Jimmy, because parents are uncreative, now believe that they are the only surviving members of their family.
Okay.
For some reason, and Jimmy is a police officer, Detroit PD.
Okay.
And he's doing his best to raise his little sister.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. I will make notes. Is Kimmy going to recognize Annie when she meets her?
I honestly think that they're going to go, there can't be that many Chinese families in Detroit.
I think we Googled the stats, and it's a pretty low number, as I recall, at the time. Yeah, I mean, well, they'll definitely have a connection on that level. I'm just wondering if, like, because I believe we established that Annie has a photograph of herself, Kimmy, and the missing brother.
Right.
That should have a bunch of other people there. Is Jimmy the brother in the photograph?
We can go with that, or we can say it's a different brother. They have a large family. Okay. In which case, that would probably be very disturbing for Kimmy because she doesn't even remember that brother.
Doesn't even remember Annie. Yeah. I'm willing to let Mike play that out however he feels. Actually, that seems like a thing that could be fun to mess with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it just a different brother every time you look at the picture?
Is it like a rotating cast of family members that we only have photographic record of one of them at any given time? Because that would be kind of cool. Or
that could be interesting.
Or like, are they like scattered throughout the city and therefore like come back into the photo as we get near them and then like fade as we move away from them? There's a lot of cool things you could do with that photograph. Is basically what I'm getting at.
The only thing that we've really narrowed down on is the fact that Kimmy, the two girls are a duo. They've always worked as a team. So the fact that they're now missing part of that dynamic is going to be pretty obvious to both of them.
Yes. It's going to feel like both of them are going to feel like they're missing an arm and not really know why necessarily.
Yeah.
So I'll say this is a very Back to the Future photograph now.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was sort of the point to begin with, and then, yeah.
Okay, after that brevity, I can go on with mine now. Unless there's more you wanted to cover. Okay.
I think that's probably good.
I am now playing Roland, after the namesake of my mythos. Although I sort of backed off my mythos just to the Knights of Charlemagne as opposed to the specific one, but we're going to say that Roland's leading the charge at least for whatever possession with the mythos due to people. Roland lost his mother very recently in this timeline, and I think that is what we kind of said the Sundering was based on, or at least the mist attacking our group or our school. Where one night we did the Ouija thing, or just some sort of mystic D&D bullshit ritual that actually wasn't so bullshit in this environment.
Dear limited wish, I didn't think it could happen to me.
Except that whatever happened didn't bring his mother back, but somehow made him a high school dropout who's going through EMT training.
A dropout, okay.
Well, he no longer goes to school. He has to, because he also doesn't have a father. His father died when he was young. Only thing he has from his dad is this old '69 Dodge Charger. That's all tricked out that he uses to get around. So now he has to pay for his own living. He I don't know, you can be emancipated at 16, right?
Sure.
I think so. He's not in any home system, so he's probably on some sort of, he has to make a wage to live, so he's effectively out of school and making his way as an EMT. But so and then also for the card, I think it was the Fool. Is that what that is?
Yeah, the Fool inverted.
Fool inverted. So Fool normally is some sort of a card of innocence. Inverted means complete loss of innocence, effectively, for this character. And so he's on his own. He's lost his Haven whatever group, and now he's trying to survive.
Yeah, trying to get by with what he's got.
Yeah.
I mean, that's super cheery. So let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
I have figured out how to layer Discord on top of Roll20 using OBS. So now we are slightly into the future. Ow, my burn hurts. Sorry, I burned the hell out of myself in the past 2 weeks, which is why I mentioned that. I don't know why. So let's talk about the other thing we have is a crew. And we did a bit of crew creation, which is fun because it's alliterative. And where did we have? The crew theme books.
Yeah, that was way back up.
That's not actually where I thought that was. So we had the exposition session, steps, series concepts.
So our crew's on page 83 from the gang.
Yeah, that's actually the concept. Cool. That's who you are as a crew, is the gang, right? Okay, so we've determined, we've done character creation. The next step after character creation is actually crew, because the crew gets tags just like the characters do.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So if you flip, for those of you following along at home, if you open your textbooks to page 283, it's actually 179. You can see the crew theme. And we have a crew theme book. We already get the concept. Well, I mean, we can talk about this a little briefly. So the crew is supposed to have been together for a while. So we have Kimmy and Annie are going to have met each other at some point in the distant past. It doesn't have to be like a super long time ago, but the crew has known each other and operated together for some period of time, which probably is a thing that we can talk about. So I believe that we've already talked about your shared goal.
Figuring out what the hell's going on.
Fix what was broken.
Yeah.
And what was lost.
Yeah.
Such a pain in the ass. Alright, let's just one crew stuff. So we have, what is our shared goal? And that's to fix what was broken.
Yes. And find what we lost, I think, was the other one.
Yeah. Next question is, who or what brought us together? So once, after you, the mist, or the malevolent entity, or whatever it was that kind of split you apart, did so, what was it that, how did you all find each other again? Was it like an event, or like shared trauma? Was there a message board? Did you all find out, like, wander back to your old hangout? What happened?
Well, we've kind of discussed that our old school is gone, and we seem to be like some of the only people that know about it, right?
Yeah, and like,
And then we decide. So didn't we decide there's a lake there now?
Yeah.
I imagine it was probably just one of those fateful nights where we all independently gathered at the school site. Like, we like normally meet up for a D&D session every, Thursday or something like that at the school. So, a week goes by after this and we all it's Thursday. We all normally go to this. So we just do that by a habit.
Thursday D&D sessions. I don't know, kind of on the nose.
Yeah.
I like that. The other option I would pitch potentially is like we all just got up the next day and like went through some altered version of our normal routine as the new reality told us to, and then like went to the wrong school. Like we all went back to the lake that first day. And like, wait.
That's not
Cops came for us.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, I mean, those are all real strong. But so the common theme between all these is returning to old habits.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice chunky cards. So returning, stumbled across each other. Okay, cool. Third question is, so why do we work together? What does each member contribute to the cause? And I mean, it's kind of built into the gang, right? Everyone has like a common. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
No, I was gonna say, well, we work together because it gives us that sense of normalcy. This is what we've lost. We can somehow hold together what we know should still be there by staying together with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a bunch of us have questions that only the other ones might help get the answers to, and like especially if we're the only ones that know what's going on or see what's going on. It's going to be sort of a natural drive to coalesce.
Yeah. Whoa. So we're still.
I mean, we also could work together out of shared guilt. If we understand that we're the cause of the school going awry.
Well, I mean, that's an excellent question. Do you understand that it was your fault? And do you feel any responsibility for that? I mean, Adam probably does, but...
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I did we determine, I seem to remember, did we determine that Annie ran the game most nights? Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
I thought there was like a fight for who gets to be the GM of the group.
Yeah. I was thinking like she seems like the kind of person that would have found this thing to try to make you feel better, or like tried to figure out what to do this thing. Like Annie might have somehow been the genesis of the actual effect. The like, if one of us is going to open the Necronomicon, right? It is Annie Wong.
Probably the person with the luck dragon.
Yeah, well, the like Snoopy high school reporter wannabe, right? That also runs a D&D game. Like that's right in that psychotype, right?
Yep.
At some point, is there going to be like an Evil Dead flashback where you're trying to remember the right words to say as you pick up the Necronomicon and just flub it?
I mean, nothing says homage to loved media like a flashback.
It's true. It's true. I'm trying to think.
I mean, that's all. We don't have to hammer out exactly this stuff. These are kind of like preparatory questions to get into our minds before we hit the power tags.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's plenty for now. So where do y'all meet? Where do you collect your evidence or prepare for action? Is it a and Andrew would be the only one to get this joke. Is it an empty water tower? Oh, Jonathan was there for that too.
Yeah.
I mean,
um.
if nothing else, part of my possession is a fully stocked garage. So I have an empty house, which, well, that could be one possible choice. If we have something else that's more interesting, though, that's fine.
I mean, yeah. Did we have a backup D&D place?
Well, and then I was wondering, like, park now? Like, is there stuff around there where we could meet?
What kind of canal?
Because, like, the lake where the school used to be.
Right.
Is there a
Because,
park
like,
around it? Yeah.
Like, yeah, do you know what I mean? Because, like, a lake in the middle of the city by itself, just, like, abandoned, would be weird.
Yeah. Is there like an events gazebo or something that we can go hang out in?
Or even, like, the old maintenance building is now, like, the maintenance building for the park.
That's suitably creepy. I like that. Like
The shed.
The outbuildings, like the creep one, they were super creepy. Like
Right.
the outbuilding that we all had rumors about what happened in it,
Right.
and that was like one of the things that my character was like working to uncover with her investigative reporting. It's like what happens in the shed.
Poor groundskeeper Willie, never a moment of quiet because of
Well, and, like, I gotta say that, like, the groundskeeper is still there, but doesn't apparently remember anything from before.
And keeps running us out of his shed.
Well, because we know he's, like, drunk or whatever at night.
Uh-huh. You know, we're just giving Mike an excuse to break out that Scottish accent of his. So.
Ah.
You mean his non-Scottish, non-accent?
Exactly.
It's got to be an accent. It's not my normal singing voice. Talking,
Singing, yeah.
talking voice.
Sure about that.
La la la.
La. All right, so I'm going to mark that down as the old school maintenance shed.
Yeah, and it's just like full of like lawn keeping equipment.
There's
and,
there's a lawnmower and like a tackling dummy and like a kickball, and there's no football field and not enough lawn to mow.
Yeah, but also like
Like
gasoline and pesticides, and like it's not a safe place. Is what I'm getting at. Like this is the kind of place that like some of us probably used to cut class to go smoke in, but came away with like tetanus and weird infections.
So the old school maintenance shed, which is now a rundown park maintenance shed.
But we also know where groundskeeper Willie keeps his booze in that like hidey hole way in the back.
All right. That's good. That's good fodder for later too. And the last question is, what sort of resources do you have at your disposal? I mean, you have Adam's guilt.
It's a pretty big resource.
Gets things done. Guilt is a powerful motivator. I mean, what collective resources do we have? Like, are we fleecing our new families to like fund our investigations?
Do you set up big sales that you then just pocket all the money to? Like, how do you do y'all get scratched somehow?
I joined the Girl Scouts and started embezzling.
Look at this. It says business right here. The business merit badge. I took out a loan to buy the Girl Scouts, and that's how I got my what's that thing that they do? Mortgage asset refinancing or whatever.
Well,
Oh, jeez. Yeah, they're gonna end up like a Toys R Us.
Exactly.
so like the assets we know we have, sort of, are Andrew's character, William, works at a pawn shop, and so like there's stuff in a pawn shop we could take if we needed it.
Yeah.
My character Annie is like on the school newspaper and can get around to find things and use stuff that's in the school probably. Adam's character Roland, is studying to be an EMT and could probably get a hold of some fun medical stuff if we need it. Also, sirens. Can you get sirens? Because they're just cool. They're just cool. So we have things like, oh, Kimmy's brother's a cop.
That's true.
A cop from 80s Detroit. You know he's packing some fun stuff.
All right, Kimmy's brother is the 5-0 Lalo.
Uh-huh.
And I should point out that one of the benefits I took out of that logos is that the police will respond when Kimmy is in trouble.
Nice. The cops actually come.
That's right.
Yeah.
Detroit?
The cops actually show up.
Well, a cop shows up, and this is 80s Detroit, so it might fucking be
RoboCop.
exactly.
That's someone's mythos out there, you know it.
Oh god, that'd be amazing.
Fuck, let's take some notes real quick.
Remain calm, citizen.
What's the robot? His name I can never remember.
EB509.
Yeah, it's one of those.
NPCs.
Um,
And Joe is in the drama club, so like,
Yeah, and remember we were toying with her being like a minor celebrity?
yeah.
Because like, all right, so I had the idea because we were talking about the Apple, and it's like it's going to be an item. It should totally be like an Apple Steve Jobs item that's just totally out of place.
I like that. I like the anachronistic stuff. Like I want the weird stuff.
I'm just thinking like it's a gold iPhone or something. How does it work? Who knows?
But it's
Yeah.
got full 5G.
Yeah, and the weird thing is Joe's on Twitter all the time, but it doesn't exist. Like Joe's a Twitter celebrity.
But it also kind of does exist.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's people across town tweeting about like monster sightings that we need to go investigate, except they don't have
Yeah.
they don't have the ability to tweet. Yeah.
Well, so were you
Yeah.
guys tossed into the future or tossed into the past?
I think we said we were tossed into the past.
Yeah, I feel like we were thrown backwards.
So you started off in cell phone era and you wound up in 1980s Detroit. That's a shitty punishment. But that's also the last time Adam's mom was alive, so
Yeah.
all right. I don't know. We'll figure that out.
Dude, is your mom a high schooler? Like, how Back to the Future are we going? Did we get sent back here because your mom? Because I misworded the spell, and your mom is alive here now this time.
You have to change your
Wait.
mythos to Epidius.
No, I mean, I didn't know that we actually had time travel as part of the setting because I thought we were going to be trying to find people that we knew from our school.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We kind of did away with the
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
time travel bits.
We picked the 80s as our, theme, but
Well, I mean, in the 80s, they had those briefcase cell phones, right? Yeah. The shoebox phones or whatever they were called. All right, so
I love the idea that like Joe has a lower ranking drama nerd that carries her cell phone,
yes.
like in a backpack.
Oh, that's amazing. Like the radio operator for like the military, but it's Joe's cell phone in case her agent needs her. And you all have
Freshman.
beepers because beepers. All right. So
It's a big
what's
guy
sort of,
backpack that says Motorola.
Uh-huh.
all right. So page 181. Now we have to get talking about the actual tags for the crew, and this works exactly the same as it does for putting tags on mythos or logos. Basically, you get 2 or 3 for this.
3.
3.
Yeah, 3. 3 of the power tags and 1 weakness tag.
3 power tags and a weakness. And they don't have to be exactly like they have here, but these are, you got to answer 3 of these questions. And the answer should be something that would be useful to your crew during the game. Power tags in general are designed to just be positive. They're not necessarily fate aspects where you have to be able to think of a way to tag them negatively. That's what the weakness tag is for. So keep in mind that these should be things that are trend towards positives, or things that you might want to burn in the case you need to burn a tag. Yeah. So what here sounds good to y'all?
All right, this isn't a suggestion, but I just like that C has literally an answer of a summoning ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already burned that one.
I like the what environment or situations are you most comfortable in, the F question. Like, I like something like too cool for school. Like, we're way more comfortable outside school running around doing stuff than like when we have to go back and there's like adults watching all the time for our antics.
Well, that's a great fate aspect, right? Because I can take the shit out of that, and when you're all in school, right?
Yeah. Also, we can burn it and like be stuck in school for some reason. Yeah.
Well, I think any of these get burned when you use them.
No.
For the crew powers, yes.
Crew operates
Oh, right.
differently. I'm not sure that's. I think that sounds right as the.
I just read it on page 179.
There you go.
Where was it? Yeah, the bottom left paragraph. Unlike character power tags, a crew themed power tag can describe. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was somewhere in there.
I think yeah.
However, unlike character power tags, crew power tags are single use. Once used in a move, they are burnt and become unavailable until they are recovered.
So they're crispy. All right.
Yeah. Basically, this isn't an extra sheet that we can all pull from all the time. It's just like
if you do pull from it, it's not going to be used again and be able to be used again until you recover it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think G is probably important in this group too. I honestly think "You Don't Fool Us" is probably the best way to play this.
Oh yeah,
It's a group of kids that know they're smarter than the average bear.
I also like
like-
smarter than the average bear, actually.
Don't
Yeah,
fool
we
us.
use that as our aspect.
like literally, like the city tried to pull one over on us, and we're all like, "What? No."
Mm-hmm.
I also kind of like D having some sort of shadowy backer, like someone
Okay.
who's helping us, but we don't know who.
Willie.
Yeah, the groundskeeper. What's his job back working for the school?
But like Willie turns out to be like an aspect of Odin or some shit at the end of this whole deal.
Father Christmas.
Well, I mean, technically, it would be an aspect of a hearth goddess, right?
Maybe like cool Kahane, like.
But I think that's a great idea. Is that we have a shadowy backer? I guess in this case, not so shadowy and more hungover.
Yeah.
Well, shadowy in that we don't see them helping us and don't know that they're helping.
Well, I mean,
us
it's right there, the professor. In this case, we simply have the groundskeeper.
Well, okay, so here's the
Instead
real
of Kyle.
here's the real question: did the groundskeeper used to be somebody?
He was
Like-
the groundskeeper at the school. Literally, he was the groundskeeper.
No,
Well, but, like-
that's an option. But I'm saying, like, was this guy or this person, because it can be anything, right? Was this person like a city council person or like the principal of the school? Or, like-
we'll just say that he was. He was the groundskeeper, but when he was not being the groundskeeper, he was also, I don't know, a really powerful mage.
Well, I mean, you can.
Oh God.
idea that just popped in my head was it was a magnet school put together by somebody with like a strong philosophy of something, right? And
Okay.
this was that dude, but he also like kept an immaculate garden in the middle of the school, like as a hobby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. That.
And afterwards,
Maybe he just liked working as the groundskeeper because it let him be around these kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
Which-
I
to see his vision realized.
Yeah.
I really like all of these ideas. I mean, I feel like we can combine that. Did we get the original summoning / shitbird spell from Groundskeeper Willie, whoever this person turns out to be?
Looking in the point of the school, not like overtly, but like his reason for the school was to find people the mythoses are interested in.
Oh God, that's kind of amazing, actually. Although
We've done it. We've made this game everything Mike wanted it to be.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good.
There's a reason I keep coming to this same well of people.
The one where you let us screw ourselves.
This throws right here. MC move. Just let him keep talking.
I saw this picture that, like, we're a group of, like, overactive 6-year-olds. Mike just shows up with a duffel bag full of sharp objects and dumps them out. Like, there you go, kids.
The really funny thing about that is it was that sort of behavior was a plot point in our D&D game like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Literally.
Like literally that
children
thing,
with sharp
that thing you just
objects.
described. Yep. Okay, so I really like where we're going, groundskeeper person, Willy person. So that would be D. And then I also really like the we're too smart for this city, like the you don't fool us aspect from G. I like those. I like both of those.
So we got D, G, and Adam, you wanted to do F.
I was pitching F.
Okay.
Yeah, I said D. Yeah.
I was pitching F about like what areas are you comfortable in, and it's not at school.
What
Right.
I think the other thing that we gotta consider is what do we do well together that we don't do well, like in say duos or even in trio. And I think that thing might be the thing that enables us to actually finish our investigation and figure out what happened. So it's got to be like when we are together, we're a really good second story crew.
That's in A. Watch each other's back. How do you help assist or support one another? Watch each other's back. So when we're assisting each other, we have an option to burn this to be extra watchful.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah,
because we have a loose cannon, we have a protector, we have a thinker. Actually, I think we have 2 thinkers with Andrew's character. We have a face character.
I would call Andrew's character the wild card, to be perfectly honest. his mythos is like starving in the Yukon gold rush. So yeah.
Edge between civilization and anarchy and like 2 meals or whatever it is. I can't remember.
Yeah. He's going to be wearing a cowboy hat and bust open the 2 back doors of a van and leap out yelling, "I cut the brake line." That's going to happen at some point.
Aspect of Florida, man.
Except he's Yukon, man.
Just wild card, bitches. He's out.
Why would you do that? It was getting boring.
Exactly. Exactly. We hadn't found the gold yet. I'm bored. I do like the fact that Andrew's character works at a pawn shop because gold.
His road mantle is literally playing that guy.
I mean, I think Andrew's going to take it slightly more seriously than that. I just look at, because I don't know if you read the poetry of the individual he's like basing his mythos on, but it's like some like dark frontier stuff about howling hungers in the darkness and dying for gold you'll never see. So
he's just a regular dude, man.
All right. So the next one is weakness.
Oh man, I feel like we get each other in trouble all the goddamn time.
Well, yeah, so lacking in the way you operate, how do you get each other in trouble? Yeah, how do you get each other in trouble? Well, we don't technically know each other anymore in this reality, right? And like, some of us have weird and slightly sketchy reputations, and right, we have to go to parts of the city we don't actually live in to meet each other, and we're teenagers in 1980s Detroit.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and
RoboCop
alright,
might have a file on us.
So I really like the phrase "who's watching the suspect,"
Yeah.
but like what's underneath it. Well, just like looking at the group, they all have their strong thing where they think they're in charge of that, or like that's their thing. So I can easily see us overlooking something mundane like that. I don't know if that's the best way of phrasing it for us.
another one that fits for under C. What are we all afraid of being not being taken seriously?
I think that also occurred to me as an angle we could lean on. The fact that we are just kids. Like, some of us are older kids, and like one of us has a job.
That would be D, right? What places or situations do you find too tough to handle? Adult.
Yeah.
Adult situations are hard for us to handle.
It's like, yeah, but nobody takes it. Not taken seriously is pretty close to like what I would envision on that.
Yeah.
Or like.
But are we afraid of that necessarily, or is that something?
Well, okay. So can I pitch this? All right, and stay with me on it. Nobody takes this seriously, right? Because it works as a nobody takes us seriously when we tell them these things, or we're trying to do this thing together that we're trying to find all this out about. They treat us like kids, like we don't matter. Also, nobody takes this seriously. We're all like fuck up kids doing
Did you answer every one of those questions?
I think I did.
That sounds
Actually.
B. It honestly sounds B. Like nobody takes
I
it
can see
seriously.
it for every single one of them.
It definitely works for B. I think it also works for D if you like make it outward facing.
Yeah.
Right.
And look at that with C, because we're this big change happened and nobody is taking it seriously. And then even the way we work together, because
Yep. Yeah, so that's just a thought. Like, nobody takes this seriously. Could be talking about us. It could be talking about, like, the rest of the world. It could be talking about specific authorities that aren't respecting us because we're kids. It could be talking about a lot of
we
things.
just need to mechanically define it so that Mike can hit us with it.
Well, I think we choose when we burn tags.
Yeah, because that's how you advance. You gain advancement points, right, or awareness points.
Yeah. You draw awareness to the weakness.
Yeah, so
I can hit you with it too, but
yeah. So when you burn a tag, you are counted as though you rolled a 10 on your roll.
But weaknesses are can always be applied even when you burn a tag.
Yes. And so the weakness when a weakness is tagged, you go down -1 on your roll, right? It's kind of like yeah. Sorry,
we can provide an example for that, but yeah, this is basically Dungeon World meets Blades.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Dungeon World meets Blades with fate aspects everywhere. So many fate aspects, like non-fractal, just like surface level fate aspects on everything.
All right, so I added the weakness tag if we're just kids. Is that like? Do we want to dig more into that? Do we want to describe that more deeply, or not taken seriously was a weakness tag? Was that?
That was from the
Nobody takes
book.
Which
Yeah, I just pulled the phrase from the book. Yes, sir.
all of the angles, but I think we're going to use it with how do we get ourselves into trouble.
Yeah. So like, yeah, nobody takes this seriously. So we can.
Right. So like, if somebody says, "Hey, you need to watch that guy because we still need to ask him questions," they're going to be like, "I'm not taking this seriously."
I'm a teenager. I'm going to wander off and
Yeah, I'm going to look at my cell phone.
But
which
that
happens
doesn't.
to be the size of a computer, but yes, it's a cell phone.
I'm gonna play Snake on my cell phone.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So let's do. I feel like we need some sort of image for that.
So the mystery is easy. The high school detective team. What strange forces are meddling with our school and why? That's literally our purpose.
Oh, for choosing the mystery identity?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, yeah.
So that one sort of answers itself.
Yeah, that makes some sense. I think.
this game is so much free. Just like atmosphere is open for it.
Actually, I'm curious now.
And y'all need like a title even thing.
Titling. Oh, aren't we just the Motor City Mystics?
Oh. I mean, do you refer to yourselves internally as that?
I think I could see that being the D&D name.
They just refer to themselves as
Oh.
the crew. Oh yeah, it could be that. It could be the name of the game.
Yeah, was that our like D&D club name?
I
Yeah.
like it.
Like,
Yep.
do we have like denim jackets with that across the top?
God.
No, it's 1984. We members only jackets.
Oh, nice.
I was about to mock the denim, but it was the 80s, so that would not be horribly unfashionable.
All right. So I think that's going to look good on the stream right now. Yeah, perfect. I'll just use this layout from now on. Cool. All right, so that's the crew. I think that's literally everything we have to do. We've got the Mr. Identity, we got the title. In the future, there are improvements that can happen. But in the meantime, that is it for like setup. And then the only other part of exposition that we have is a day in the life.
What about crew relationships? Is that a thing we have to do?
Probably. Did I skip right over that?
I don't. It's way down, right before day in the life.
Yeah. Oh shit. This was like the most important thing, and I skipped right over it. Okay. So now this is where not having printouts is sort of gonna suck. So if you look at each of your, I think they're called themes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have, yeah, for each of your themes, you're gonna have a section where it talks about its relationships, essentially. So if you look at the Logos theme book for training on page 170, it shows crew relationships, and there are 3 questions. So what we're going to do now is, much like in Dresden Files, where we kind of pick up our cards and we pass them to the person next to us, we're going to go through some of our relationships, and we're going to figure out a time where we all interacted with each other. And I say we, but I mean you. And we will have to do another pass of this when we bring Andrew back into the fold. But in the meantime, we can absolutely do...
Well, is he asleep or is he just not?
He's not feeling good.
Yeah, but is he like completely available? Because we could ask him to do it via chat.
I mean, you can just pretend you pass it to him and just leave it blank for now.
Sure, that'll work too.
Right. You just
So
mark it down.
Give an imaginary seat, and then just put, Andrew fills in here later, or I fill this in for Andrew later.
Oh, but instead of, we don't literally hand it to the guy to the right. What happens is we go around the table, you pick one of your theme books and refer to the crew section, the crew relationship section, and you pick one of the 3 options, 3 or however many options, and you read it out and you say, oh, like for example, this one is for crew relationships under training. This one's is one of them was there to support you while you trained, perhaps even mentored you. Take a help point on them. And there are 2 different types of points that we do here. We're going to do help and hurt. They do not cancel each other out. They're kind of like triumph and despair. And the sole point of this is to develop character interaction backgrounds.
Okay.
Well, let's go with Rob first, Rob, since you're the last person to say a thing. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay, so
let's go with that. I just want to let me read through, because the obvious one to do is expression, but the only obvious answer is with Zach, and I want to avoid doing that right now. So let me take a look at my
Do you do one of these for each theme, or you only pick one of your themes?
we can do one for each theme book.
Okay.
But we can do this as many times as we want. There's no minimum or maximum here.
Oh.
So let's go with this. One of you has borrowed Fu House Hammer. What happened next? And then if my character doesn't like that, you may get a hurt point on them. But if my character would like what you did with the hammer, they get a help point. So somebody picked up the fuck off huge hammer and used it. how did they use it? And I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm gonna say that Roland did it.
Oh, jeez. I'm busily avoiding one weapon already.
I know.
So and the whole, like, you have the ability to say no, I don't want to touch that, and if you really don't want to,
you can pass if you want to.
No, I'm fine saying that I did grab it at one point. All right.
So
So this is probably back when we were first getting used to working with our mythos.
Yeah.
And we'll say that something got the better of you at the time, and you were disarmed.
Yeah.
So Roland on his teleporting horse, but yeah, that's a thing too. Probably got the hammer, and I don't want to say it's as boring as just returned it to you in some sort of Thor-like fashion, hammer tossing, but I don't know, that might be all that he would do with it.
Okay, so he picked up the hammer, and instead of using it himself, he returned it.
Yeah, I don't think he would want to use it for anything.
But would that be disappointing to Fu Hao?
Well, that's the question that I now have to decide. Would that be disappointing to the
Would
character?
Would you approve of someone else using your hammer, I guess?
Right. That's the crux, the question right there is, and I think the answer is no. So that the act of recovering the hammer and returning it to Fu Hao would have been a positive outcome for the character. So I think that gives me a help point for Roland. Is that how that works, Mike?
Yep. So if we actually had the printouts, you would write down Roland 1 help.
Okay.
Or Roland, and then the help column you'd mark 1. And I think I'm going to try to figure out a way to get this in the game. Like, the character sheets aren't perfect. Like, because if you look under Kimmy, there's no place to do this that I see, at least.
Yeah.
The sheets are really nice to have, but they do leave a lot to be desired.
Right.
In some ways.
Okay. So I am done with that one, so someone else can go now.
Yeah.
I have a thing.
Do it.
Jonathan, you want to stir some shit?
Well, fuck yeah.
All right. One of them thinks your mission is doomed to fail or must never be allowed to succeed. They don't have to tell you which. My mission is let me pull this up real quick. My mission is lost and almost forgotten, trying to find my family, right? Ask them if they show it or hide it. If they show it, take a hurt point on them. If they hide it, take a help point on them.
What was the first part again?
So one of them thinks your mission is doomed to fail or must never be allowed to succeed. They don't have to tell you which.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm thinking, why do you have a reason to think that I shouldn't be finding my family?
I think your brother's a dick. And I'm not quiet about it.
Okay. All right. So you're very angry. So you hate my old brother that may not exist anymore.
He was kind of a jerk.
And you like saying so in front of me.
You're just better off without that guy.
I really hope you never find. Is it Jimmy or is it going to be somebody else?
Jimmy is the one I've heard. How many brothers do you have?
Well,
there's the known one and then the missing one.
We have not opened that box yet to see how many are inside.
There's some quantum state of brothers that hasn't been observed yet.
Consider this is a bunch of second generation Chinese, so they have first generation immigrant parents. So it's probably a pretty large family.
It's a good chance. It's a sizable family, or at least the original family I came from. I'm thinking right now that Annie's like in the current family architecture that she exists in. But yeah, is it Jimmy or is it a different character or different brother that we have not located yet? That you're like, man, that dude was a dick. What?
I'm gonna label it as Jimmy.
Is Jimmy?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so you hate Jimmy.
What theme was this for?
This was for my mission because I'm finding my family. Right, is my mission. So you hate Jimmy. You tell me about it, and you want my mission to fail because of that. Okay, so that's a hurt point I get on Joe. That's gonna be resolved real fast though, because if we find Kimmy, we find Jimmy essentially.
Well, you found Kimmy already.
Yeah.
No, you found Kimmy. You don't necessarily know what Kimmy's living situation is, though.
Oh, okay. Have I not interrogated her about that? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because Jimmy's the cop, right? Yeah, okay. No, that's cool.
Jimmy might not even be living with Kimmy anymore if he's an adult that went through the police academy and is out. So it's possible. I just haven't had any contact with Jimmy yet.
Or it could be a thing where you try to interact with Jimmy and he just, doesn't acknowledge your existence or something. It could be other things misrelated that's stopping you.
Like I'm out there like running red lights on my bike trying to get
Okay, so I have one then. So this is for Bastion. I once protected something very dear to one of you. We're going to say Zach, since you talked last.
Okay.
Possibly even from you. If you're grateful, I get a help point. If you were not, then a hurt point.
Protected something that was very dear to me.
Possibly even from yourself.
Alright. You somehow, and you can flavor this however you want with your knightly powers, right? You somehow came through the mist and the events with my DM's notebook that contains like all of the campaign details plus the weird spells that we picked up. Those are all yours and in your possession unless you give them back to me, I guess.
Well, I mean, if you keep them, then that's going to be a hurt, right?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you give them back to me, I'm very grateful. If you haven't given them back to me, I'm probably not super great.
Yeah, no, I think Roland would give them back.
Okay.
Even, with the hope that something else could be fixed from this.
That Annie can find some way to undo things. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right. No, that's I think I would be very happy about. Yeah. Thank you so much, Roland. The headless Thompson gunner.
All right, Joe. Let's get Jonathan in this mix.
Mike here.
All the way back here.
So if you can't decide, one of the things they say in the book is to just literally pick one at random, and then you can pick a question at random too.
Yeah. All right. So who doesn't have a relationship yet? Hasn't gone yet.
Kimmy, Roland, Annie, Joe, Roland, Annie. So
you can also tag Andrew too, and just say that he'll have to resolve it.
Yep.
Yeah. You for that one. Okay. For subversion, the first question is: one of them saw something that incriminated you or revealed what you truly are. In this case, basically, supernatural shit stir. What was it and under what circumstance? If you ever made them your confidant, take a health point, otherwise take a hurt point. So it's going to be thrown into Andrew. I'm not certain what he would have seen, but I can totally see his character being kind of apart from the situation and realizing what I was doing in it. Just like turning two groups against each other or turning one group against itself. Understanding what was happening while he was watching it. I'll have to work that out with Andrew.
Yeah. And this was subversion.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll have Andrew review that. Answer that when they return. Highlighted so I remember that. Dink. Okay. So Rob, I believe you had another one you wanted to do.
Yes. So Kimmy has a lot of training, a lot of investigative training for somebody who's 16 going on 17. I think this is something that Joe wouldn't like, just because of who Joe is and what his aspects are. So, why does Joe look down on Kimmy's training? Does he find it morally questionable? Does he find it inefficient use of their time, or does he simply think it's distasteful?
Did we gender Joe? I wasn't sure if you had decided on that.
I've been kind of intentionally leaving it neutral.
Okay.
Then
I fucked up at least once though. So
they does Joe into them sense?
Basically physical. I don't remember. Do you have a sport that you do, or is it really just martial arts?
So Kimmy was a field hockey player at the magnet school. In the new reality, Kimmy is not an athlete anymore, in the sense that she doesn't participate in school sports. However, she's still obviously a trained martial artist.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, you spend your entire time learning how to hurt people. That is just.
Well, that's how this training is. The training logos for her is investigation. That's what she's been learning
Oh, okay.
from her sister originally, and now from Jimmy.
Not it. Yeah. That at all. I mean, you should believe what people tell you, man. That's just no. Then your training finds it.
So
Yeah.
So this is page 170, but like the way the question's worded, if it makes you want to punch them, take a hurt point on them. If it makes you want to impress them, take a help point on them.
Yeah, but I need to understand what Joe's opinion is and
Gotcha.
decide whether Kimmy
Yeah.
to hurt or not. One of these weird things about narrative themes.
So sum up your training for me. Just like bullet point it.
So Kimmy originally learned to snoop from her sister, and then because she no longer has her sister around, she has been taking lessons from her older brother, who is a cop. So she's been learning stuff like crime scene investigation. And
I'm kind of gonna flip that there, where it's like you're doing all of this work to try and figure out what people actually want and mean, when like you just have to pay attention to them. It's obvious. So
Okay.
it's weird why you're doing it that way, and like it makes me think that there's something wrong with you where you can't just look at people and understand what they want.
going into this, I think that I wanted Kimmy to not like Joe's attitude about this, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and take a hurt point. I don't think Kimmy feels that they can impress Joe on this, and I don't feel like Kimmy wants to impress Joe. I think Kimmy just wants the results, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. Zach, you want to go again?
Sure. Think I will aim this one at Roland, actually.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with my routine because I have plans for the other two. So I have a couple of questions that it could be. So one of them is a regular part of your routine. If your routine is to promote them, care for them, or help them, or if they help you with your routine, take a help point on them. If your routine is to work against them, or they might interfere with your routine, take a hurt point on them. I'm trying to figure out how I would act against Roland if that were the case. The other one, and I kind of wish I'd use this one on Joe now, but I think it might be obvious. You think one of them has a penchant for mayhem or drama that could destabilize your routine if you let them, take a hurt point on them. But I don't think that describes Rolando at all, right? Or Roland at all, right? Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking about the first one you were saying. So I just
Yeah,
thought the second one was...
So Roland doesn't strike me as someone who has a penchant for mayhem or drama.
No.
Okay.
I mean, did you want to have a hurt for the first one, or did you want something to help you helping me? Because I could think of something you could help me with.
Well, yeah. So, like, I feel like between the whole thing where there was a magical spell and your dead mom, that whole deal seems like there could be hurt, help, whatever in there, right?
I was thinking, I mean, Roland still wants to be in school, but this universe has now forced him out of it. So if you're help like tutoring for like a GRE or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I would totally do that. Like maybe partially because you're my friend and partially out of like guilt for the thing not working properly, or like, yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I am helping. Annie is helping Roland study for the GRE because he's no longer in high school for reasons that may or may not be my fault.
Yeah.
So which playbook was this for?
This is for routine.
Okay.
It's for routine. I'm helping Roland study for the GRE, or like study to get into community college, whatever it takes, like whatever we're doing to try to.
Why is Roland necessarily studying for his GED? Maybe Roland's already gotten his GED and he's studying now for his SATs so he can get into college, right?
Or like a nursing exam, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe to become an EMT, you gotta like pass tests and stuff. Yeah.
Well, you do have to pass it. Well, no. Yes, you do have to pass a test to become EMT.
I don't know. This is a reality where we have multiple magical horses. I don't know what.
So he's helping study for something. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the testing situation is like in 1986 Friendship is Magic Detroit, but we'll figure it out. Like I'm helping him study for something.
Yeah, when I did it back in 2000 or so, it's a written test and then a practical exam.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one for mobility.
It's 160 hours of classroom and 32 hours of clinical. Wow.
It's really not 160 hours of classroom.
But it's 32 hours clinical either.
Yeah.
This is just training for Detroit. I don't know how real this is.
I think the National Registry requires something like 80 hours in the classroom.
Well, this is why Detroit doesn't have EMTs, obviously.
In like New York, the practical was something like 16 hours or something. Like I just did it in an ER of basically watching people.
Wow.
I took 6 shifts in Bridgeport, but I ended up working there anyway, so I wasn't confused.
I wasn't actually affiliated with a company at the time. I really took it because I wanted a hell of a first aid course.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
Welcome to that Classrooms and Certifications podcast.
where we tell you about how to become a nationally registered EMT.
I didn't get that.
I'm sorry, Adam. I interrupted you. Can you tell me what's going on?
So yeah, I was going to do one for mobility.
Mobility.
So I'm going to say, Kimmy, I have taken you on a, quote, magic carpet ride.
Oh, my God.
Which you'll never forget. So what happened was that we were caught out of position. Maybe the rest of the team was, halfway across town, and we were, separated from them. So with the spectral charger, I helped get us to the combat in the nick of time to help save save whatever was happening there. Yeah, out of position. Thanks for the quotes for that one too. The question is, does it make you feel closer to me? If so, help point. If not, if you kept your distance, hurt point.
I feel like Kimmy definitely appreciated the ride in the Charger. Getting the help point there.
Got it. So you got a magic horse ride, which sounds even worse.
Magic horse. It's not the regular horse. Right? This is the magic horse.
This is not the Charger vehicle, the Charger horse.
Oh. She got a pony ride?
It's a little...
That loves it.
Did we ever decide if it's a unicorn or not? Because
No, I've backed off the unicorn. It's now a
unicorn.
spectral steed, so it's probably some sort of ghost horse.
Oh,
I mean,
yes, it's even better.
You've backed off the unicorn, but that doesn't say anything about whether I've backed off the unicorn.
Yeah,
We all 100% bought into the unicorn.
I know.
That rainbow Mustang is so strong.
It's not a Mustang anymore either. Now it's a Charger. So
But it has to be a Charger for continuity reasons.
That also makes complete sense. Yes, obviously. But,
Everyone watching this and confused, yes, there are continuity issues.
is this before that? Because I really want this to be before that. And then, yeah. Somehow we really
the
fuck up
evolution
this
of the Charger.
Yeah.
It becomes angrier and angrier.
yeah.
Well, that's how it became bound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It got caught up in some teenage bullshit. It was like, fuck it, yeah,
I'm out. Fuck this noise.
Lock me away.
I look forward to it developing a taste for other cars. Oh, is it the Jaws of Life? Oh my god. You're pulling people out of car wrecks and just like eating the detritus.
Nom 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 nom.
Jeez.
Apparently, there's like a thing with people using the jaws of life like too much and too often.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I've heard about that.
All right, so we'll do one more at the very least. We'll do one more now. And we'll do like another round when Andrew's back. So Joe,
Such a good one for Andrew.
let's do one more with Joe.
Yeah. All right. I don't have one for Roland yet. I'm really tempted because I also have the relic thing to make him have used my relic at one point because it would be funny.
Keep on dropping everybody's relics.
Well, like,
Why you guys just keep on dropping your relics? Come on.
At some point, everybody in the team was down and like Roland stands there has an apple in one hand and a giant hammer in the other. Like
Roland
bringing
Smith
it.
says that he's now used every single relic.
Yeah. Except for my own, because I refuse to grab my own relic.
Well, that's the thing. Like, am I misremembering Roland as one of the knights that was searching for the Grail? Right.
They were
So,
all
like-
by
Right.
definition Grail Knights.
Yeah. So like part of your mythos is like going and finding this magical object that's
Well,
going
no.
to save everything.
So,
Okay.
so I actually made the Grail, the water from the Holy Grail, as part of my steed's extra traits.
Okay.
The relic that Roland has is his mythical sword, which I
Okay.
refuse to take up.
Okay, that's awesome, actually. But what I'm saying is, right, like the larger mythos that Roland's a part of is like this quest to go out and find a magical
Mhm.
item. So Roland ending up with all the magical items.
Just keep on finding them.
Uh-huh.
Well, and like keep rejecting them. It's just
Yeah, it's like, nope, don't need that one. Don't need that one. Here's your hammer back, you weird little Chinese girl. Yeah.
I'm asking that of you. Once in a moment
Oh.
crisis, Roland tried to borrow your relic. What happened next?
Oh, and your relic is the golden apple?
Yeah.
The golden apple of fucking trouble.
Uh-huh.
It caused discord and strife.
I think I think I tried to diffuse a situation that you were trying to use your power stirring or something. So I might have taken the apple out of your hands or something.
Well, I'll pitch it and you can completely reject it. Was Roland about to get like kicked out of his internship as an EMT and like on the DL he borrowed the apple to make somebody else hated at the garage and get them kicked out instead?
Well, and also remember, like, it. So, like, offering it to people is like one of its primary powers, right? Is that when people see it, they really want it, they covet it. The other thing I was thinking of is that, you know, I think it is taking the form of some sort of like phone, just because I like the Apple plan too fucking much. But like, did you use it to try and bring help to somebody? Because like that's a complete anathema to the.
Yeah, I can't see Roland using it for its intended purpose, whatever happened.
Did Joe just like sneak it into Roland's lunchbox?
God damn it.
Oh shit! Now I really want to change that. Yeah, fuck yes. I'm altering this question a little bit, but basically, yeah, I planted it on him because like the one weakness I have written for the up right now is a pure heart. It just doesn't work on people who's like has actually a pure heart. So like I tried to slip it to Roland at one point in time. How was your reaction to that?
I think. I mean, he's definitely not happy about it. I mean, but probably understanding that this is, it's the mythos that's sort of imposing on. Because there's probably like previous history when we were just kids. So maybe Joe and I go way back where you're playing pranks on each other for years, and
Well,
this is
maybe-
Joe's idea of a prank, but the mythos has escalated it.
Mhm. Well, this is how you and Kimmy ended up out of position.
Ooh.
And I'm not even going there.
All right, so I guess my question is there. What did you do with it then? Like, so like I snuck it into like some place where you had to have it, and like you wouldn't be able to give it back to me for like a day.
It's in your go bag, right? And you got paged.
Yeah. It's just like I
Okay.
started talking to you for a while.
Yeah, I think it would probably be a really stressful couple of days because there's no way Roland would just leave it somewhere. So he probably screwed up on his shift or something, got in trouble a couple times, and so he had a really rough time with a couple of days with it where he just couldn't get it back to Joe. And eventually, just cornered you and shoved it back in your hands and forced you to take the damn apple back.
Okay. I'm trying to decide. Well, because like you dealt with it for a while, you never did give it back. I think I'm actually going to say that's a help point. Perversely, because it's somebody that Joe knows kind of resists her screwing around with them. They're screwing around with them. Because like there's that mythos logos balance, and it's always somewhat of a concern of how much. You know what I'm saying? Is that
Yeah.
Roland, for the most part, seems to be able to stand against the mythos side of it, and that's reassuring.
All right. That's reassuring. Roland plus 1 help. Okay, cool. All right, so that's 2 from each of you. I figure we'll get we'll hold off. Maybe we'll do one more for everybody when Andrew gets back. But this seems like a pretty good start, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So all right, before I skip forward, is there anything else that I'm forgetting, Adam? Because you've read this more recently than I have, apparently.
Oh, I was literally just paging through and I saw it before we got to Day in the Life.
Yeah, I think crew relationships. The next thing is the day in the life. If we're just like going by page order.
Yeah. So crew relationships, we've done those. Next is Day in Life. Okay, so this section is very much freeform intro to role playing ish. It's described as you start off something in a very generic situation, like it's just it must be Tuesday, right? It's a Tuesday morning, bright and early. Where are you and what you're doing? And in this section, everybody should feel free to like ask each other questions, and the goal is to kind of flesh out the setting in the places that you're likely to visit, the things that you like to do, people that you're likely to interact with, and by doing so, we kind of build sort of the framework of what we're going to be interacting with in cases for the later on for the first episode case situation thing. So everyone should be feel free to like jump in and ask questions if necessary, or if they desire, or for whatever reason. We can ask questions like of the situation. We can establish things that we want to figure out answers to, but we shouldn't be finding answers in this prologue sort of thing. So like we might find out that there is a panhandler that is more than they appear to be, right? Like, or whatever. But we don't solve the mystery of the Park Lake panhandler whose cups is always filled with one gold coin that you can never quite seem to pick up, or whatever it is. So the suggested question starting out is what are your characters and what are they doing on this normal day in their lives? But yeah, so we'll go with what was this thing that I was thinking of? What was this?
Great success. Hey, Mike, can we take a quick 5-minute break?
Oh, we totally should, because we've been streaming for 90 minutes. So yeah, let's. We're gonna go. We're gonna take a break for 5 minutes. We'll be right back.
Cool. I just realized I'm going to turn everything off, and then it's like I come back fucked up with Discord.
What are the chances?
Ugh, it's just freaking. clock so they can hear us now. And all right, we're back. I gotta figure out a way to do that. That's not terrible. So yeah. So during the break, you missed very little. So we're currently looking at what hurting and helping does, because we are still new to this game. I would assume that it has something to do with aid another.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that is.
So there's a player move for
is it though?
no, there's no player move for that.
There's no aid another move. There's change the game, which is sort of that.
So what is juice? Because that seems related to that.
Juice is a sort of abstract concept of like stored powers somehow, right? Like, I think there's a downtime action that lets you collect juice, and essentially what it is it's like +1s that you can add to rolls up to your juice total, while you're doing the thing. When you make like juice or clues, they're all kind of the same thing, in that they're like a currency that you generate via moves that you can spin to get answers or do stuff. But you have to like, how did you get it, and does that make sense if you're trying to use it this way, right? Like I can't go like use my investigative reporter powers to like learn something and be like, that makes me better at ponies. You have to. It has to apply somehow that makes sense, right?
So then,
We're searching through the book. It talks about using hurt points to help people if you believe that action they're taking will end up hurting them.
Oh, good. So let me go over my list here. Joe, I want Joe to take the hit, is the thing, apparently. I want Joe to take the hit, and I want Roland to be okay. That actually tracks. I like that. So they're like modifiers to a roll, or like a +1.
this is on 244 is where the help and hurt
Nice.
section is.
Oh, awesome. I'm totally glad I could find that in the index.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Assistant people.
Yeah, so they act like juice, where they're floating bonuses.
So that's interesting because you only count the highest assisting value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you only count the highest assistance value and the net highest
Weakness.
bad thing.
Yeah, setback. Yeah, count power tags, count weakness tags, add or subtract other factors. For each weakness tag invoked, reduce your... Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right.
So apparently my like magic horse is better at kicking Joe through walls than flying them away from danger. I like this. This works for me.
All right, so we are going to do a little bit of day in life, a little slice of life here to start with. So, right, that was what I was looking up. The phrase "boondocks." I was curious if that is actually anything besides. Wow, yeah. Huh.
I like there's a coffee stain ring in the book,
Yeah.
just on the page.
It's very Dresden.
It really is in a lot of ways. I'm sure that was a as well.
All right. Huh. All right, so we're gonna say that let's do. Do we want to do the day of school, or do we want to do like a Saturday morning?
Well, we all go to different schools, so that's not going to really help.
Yeah, unless we do like the last period of school transitioning into like us all like coming to the watch shed to do a mystery, right?
I mean, this is the daily life supposed to be our completely normal, boring life, not necessarily a mystery, or is that my misunderstanding?
Oh no, for today or for this thing that's going on right now, it's just what a typical day is like. So we're allowed to do things like if you go out on a patrol, like maybe that's a thing that happens normal, right? Like we might open on Roland in the back end of an ambulance trying to save somebody's life, like a gunshot victim sort of thing. Or maybe we open on Joe playing with her iPhone, like trying to lure some people into something horrible. Not that Joe necessarily does that, but
What? No.
I'm imagining like I do with the toddlers, like.
I'm just discouraging people from becoming overly conforming.
so
All right. I feel like it's more interesting to have this start out with Kitty's on her way to school. She got herself up because Jimmy's at work still. He works nights. So she's on her way to school, and she's got her field hockey stick, and she's slamming it against the chain link fence. Which sees, somebody she knows from her new school. Waves and says, "Hey." Just the normal kind of kid stuff on the school in the 80s.
So she's walking with somebody, or she just runs into them?
Just runs into somebody that she knows. It's
okay. So, let me look at Kimmy's sheet real quick.
At this point, people are allowed to ask questions about the character, including the MC, by the way.
Yeah.
What is Kimmy wearing? What's Kimmy's hairstyle? Stuff like that. But they can also introduce their character and what their character is doing on a typical day.
Is Kimmy wearing like a uniform? Is it a game day for field hockey?
Remember, Kimmy doesn't play field hockey anymore.
Oh.
The question of why is she bringing a field hockey stick to school?
I feel like
Does she still wear a uniform anyways?
No, she doesn't wear the field hockey uniform. No, it's the 80s, so there are no school uniforms.
Oh, I forgot one critical thing before that we need to do first. So I got these crazy tarot cards. So let's go ahead and throw that up there. And I'm not really sure how to work them in. Like maybe, or you know what? We'll save that.
Yeah, no. So I've introduced Kimmy. Why don't you pull a tarot card? Why don't you do that?
Yeah, all right, there you go. So here we go. We'll get shit, I don't know what that is. Wheel of Fortune? Wheel of Fortune inverted.
That means you discard your hand and draw 7 new cards.
That's right. Well, you gotta pick a letter.
Ooh.
R, S, T, L, and E.
By a vowel.
Yeah, and the next time we'll do past, present, future reading because that sounds neat. So Wheel of Fortune is one of the major arcana, and it is 10.
Bad luck, negative external forces, or something is out of control. Inverted. Upright, it's good luck. Good karma, stuff like that.
So out of control, right? So how do you know? Like this kid that you run into is, are they running from the police or are they spoiling for a fight?
Y'all said Jimmy never came home.
Yeah. Remember, Jimmy works nights, so Kimmy, got herself up and went to school and didn't think anything of it, right?
Mm-hmm. does this guy, this kid running up to you? Do they have news somehow?
I don't know, Mike. You got to make a call on this one.
What? No. This is
All
fertile
right.
player ground. We can totally play this however
Okay.
we want to. So yeah, did something bad happen?
By the way, everyone else is allowed to jump in here too. So any of the players make a suggestion, ask a question. So
All right.
since
So
the
how about this?
question was asked.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's say that this kid comes up and says something. Says something about I heard some pigs got put out the pasture last night. Right. To which Kimmy says, "Yeah, what of it, man?"
Okay, so
Yeah.
and he just said, well, just thought you should know because isn't your brother one of the
Of the porkly persuasion.
are they a detective or are they a beat cop or like what do they do?
Jimmy's definitely a beat cop.
It's about to be RoboCop, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, did they come home?
Well, I mean, we can smash cut to like Annie standing behind crime scene tapes, like taking notes. Somewhere.
There you go. What? The regular day now. She's at school to check out crime scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I'm a reporter. I'm a junior reporter. I have press credentials and everything. It says so on my character sheet. So yeah, like somewhere something happened, and like before I go to homeroom, I have my police scanner out, and I like jumped on my bike, much to the chagrin of like my magical horse that wants to take me places. I'm like, no, I can't ride you in public, and then I like whisk over to the location of whatever went down last night. And there's like cruisers and flashing lights, and the place is crawling with cops. And I approach some bystander, and start like interrogating them about what happened. So did you see what happened? How long have the cops been here? What's going on?
Well, so let's say
Let's say draw a card.
oh shit, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's draw a
Yeah,
card.
no, this is definitely one of those divergent points when a card would be useful. What is that? It's upside down, whatever it is.
The Emperor. Wow, we're just getting major arcana.
Do you have anything else in the deck right now?
Yeah, no, I have all the cards and I
Did you
shuffled
put
them.
all of them back in?
Yeah, I was constantly shuffling them. So the Emperor is major arcana 4, which I believe is Williams.
Do you draw it regular or inverted?
It was inverted.
Inverted.
It's inverted, so it regularly is suggested stability and security in life.
Right,
Oh,
but
that's
inverted,
not
it's
good.
Oh.
tyranny, dominance, inflexibility.
Yeah, loss of authority, immaturity, control.
Loss of authority.
Yeah, that does not bode well for the cops.
Yeah, so like I'm thinking that maybe inverted stability and security means that there are actually dead cops here. Like,
Okay.
I don't know if any of them are Jimmy, but like something real bad went down, and I want to tie it into the mythos too. Like I can see that they were torn apart by something really nasty,
Okay.
and
That's awesome.
like the cops think there was like a slasher, like somebody hopped up on PCP with a knife, but I'm like, that looks more like werewolf dragon shit to me.
Yeah, we're
I
going
want
to
to
go
write
with
that
fire,
down.
right? Because one of the biggest
Okay.
crimes in the 80s in Detroit was arson.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
It was
That sounds
drugs and it was fire, apparently.
So it was a fucking dragon.
good. Well, let's not solve the mystery.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not solving the mystery. But yeah, so there was a huge fire and apparently police died. Are we going to go with police died?
It's
Maybe
lost.
Yeah.
firefighters?
Yeah, maybe like some person that, or like did
Because remember,
did the police station burn down? Like loss of
No.
stability and
We're going to go with like so as far as you can tell right now,
Okay.
what you're hearing is that there was like a firebomb attack on like
oh jeez.
on one of the other the police. Somebody firebombed one of the police precincts, right?
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm furiously taking notes and like trying to skirt around and get as close a look as I can, and like out the corner of my eye and magical flying horse is like,
No. Mm-mm.
Mhm. Yeah, and then I like make I make eye contact with my horse. I'm like, "You take me into the air? I want to see it from above." Yeah, I would like an aerial view of this thing.
Does it make you invisible when it flies?
I think it has to, right? Like if normal people can't see what's going on, right? Like, unless you want it to look like a hang glider thing, like it doesn't. A flying high schooler doesn't make a ton of sense to like normies.
Maybe it looks like a gyrocopter to normies.
Well, that'd be pretty good news too. And it doesn't make you invisible. The mists might just effectively make you invisible.
Yeah, like it's the superhero comics like conceit that nobody ever looks up. Like all vision is at this level, right? Nobody ever
Alternatively,
raises their eyes.
It could be the Invisijet where it's invisible but you're not.
Yeah, but
The mists are just going to cover that up.
Yeah.
They're never going to let that fly.
Yeah, so I would ride my magical cart horsey out over the wreckage of whatever this fire is to see if I can get like some clue as to what's going on. Scribbling furiously in my notebook the whole time, like not holding on to the horse at all.
So there's a huge fucking fire at a police station. Where the hell is Roland?
Was this at night this happened?
Yeah, we said it happened. Well, I mean, this is shift
Like-
change, right? Yeah.
Like the fallout is happening, or like this is all happening right as school's about to start in the morning, or
Right,
like a
so-
Tuesday.
So I probably would have been just ending my shift. So I figured it works graveyard.
Okay.
So then, maybe like right at the end of his shift, he probably got called in, you know, all hands on deck kind of thing for this emergency.
Right. So Roland's already there.
Yeah.
Right. You're inside the police building, the police station, and you're treating this cop for burns, right? And like the really seriously injured people have already been like taken out to the hospital, but there are still folks like running the desks and you know answering phones because this is the 80s. They don't have like all that stuff isn't fancy yet. And you're there patching a guy up who like was outside the room when the firebomb occurred, and he ran in trying to put out the fires. And he just keeps saying, they wouldn't go out. And here's your card. That looks bad.
It's inverted though, so I mean it's anti-bad, right?
Yeah.
It can mean anything.
Yeah, it works that way.
That's the 8 of cups, it looks like. Because there's like a whole bunch of those little cup things there.
Oh, okay.
If anybody wants to look at what cups are. 3 of cups.
I'm doing that right now.
Hopelessness. Walking away.
Stagnation and ill health.
So I'm helping this guy.
Well, it was inverted.
Oh,
I was inverted. Wait, so it,
Oh, so stagnation and yeah, so okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
so I was able to get this guy patched up. Maybe I tapped a little bit into the mythos to actually heal him faster
Well-
than he should have been able to heal.
Reversed, it's hopelessness, aimless drifting, and walking away.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
is
just
it?
triage
Oh,
this
you
dude
already
and it's
did that.
over, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah, the
Yeah, so you know this dude is basically beyond help.
Damn. Okay.
But,
never
like-
mind then. Yeah.
his physical injuries aren't the problem, right? He's got
Okay.
some they're not superficial, but the burns will heal on his hands and his arms. But it's like the fire didn't burn flesh and bone for him. It burns the joy de vivre, or the
So he's almost like a husk now of his former self.
yeah. He's lost that loving feeling. Whoa.
Oh jeez.
He will never again be caught out of position.
Oh, it hurts.
It's,
I'm very specifically not asking you if I can make an investigate roll because we're not supposed to solve any of these questions.
You can make an investigate roll, but you can't solve them. We can set up for your first mission, for your first case.
All right. I'll make a roll. Why not?
So let's go through that in excruciating detail for everyone.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making it's just an action. It's one of what's called a move. There are 8 or 9 player moves that sort of circumscribe the things that they expect you to do in the game. This is one of them. There's some others. So what I do is I go through and I mark and I check off all of the tags from my powers that I think apply to this, right? So in this case, under my mission, my lost and almost forgotten mission, I expect a hard nose for trouble probably works, right? That's what got me there in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Dogged and determined, because I'm going to find answers, goddammit, even though I'm not going to find answers. I'm a budding investigative journalist, right? And that means I have press credentials. Those are from my power nerd routine.
Mm-hmm.
Mythos. Thanks to my Kirin, my magical cart horse flying animal thing, I have impossible good luck and fortune, right?
Okay.
And I'm using Flight of the Kirin because I'm actually like flying over the scene of the crime to find the things, right? To survey the area. Does all of that check out?
Yeah, but
okay. All right, bring it.
Your Kadin is not very cooperative, is it?
No, he is not very cooperative. So I will go ahead and check that weakness tag.
And if you had any scene tags, they might go in here. Like, for example, if it was particularly like a drizzly day or something like that, we might throw that in there. But for now, this is a pretty good thing to roll.
Yeah, and since I marked my weakness, since I checked my weakness tag, I can go ahead and check one point of attention on my Winds of Heaven, the theme that tag came from.
Mm-hmm.
So that weakness tag is going. All the tags I checked before are going to add +1 to my roll apiece, and every weakness tag you check is going to add a -1. So my total bonus is +5, and I have a total power of 5, which will come up in a second probably. Roll it. All right. So I got a 10, which is a great success. 10 is the highest you can have. It goes 10. 10 is the best. 7 to 9 is the next best, and then 6 and below is a failure. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Not to complicate things, but they're like later on when you start enhancing powers, you have the dynamite, which is 12+.
Yes. Eventually, you will get to the point where rolling well gets you some cool effect. We are a ways out of that, but yes, that is the thing that we can do later on. You can advance a move. So what I just got was I uncover as many clues as I have power. So I had 6 positive tags and 1 weakness tag, so I have 5 power, so I have 5 clues available. I can spin my clues 1-to-1 to ask the MC a question about the subject of my investigation, or to ask another player a relevant question about their character. They must give you a straight answer or a solid lead. In this case, because I combined my I have a magical flying creature that carries me around, and my investigative reporter skills. It would be things that I could learn from those 2 things. I can't ask about like the fabric of reality, the nature of the universe, or where our school went directly. I have to ask about the things that I could see from here from my magic horse. Right.
Yes.
And so yeah, I have 5 banked clues. I don't know if you want me to use any of them now, just to survey the area, or if we want to keep those around for after we're done with our day in the life, so I can sort of retroactively learn stuff about the scene, since we're not really supposed to start uncovering mysteries right now, or like
actually
mysteries.
Any potential, so in questions, in general, your questions should cover the following areas: any potential cases you're working on and any threats involved that you know about at the beginning of the series, but avoid tying loose ends. If someone wants to know what is the legend what the legend behind the new celebrity is, or what's really happening down at the Docklands, they can wait to find out during these series as you investigate these questions. So anything that you ask will be answered, but will not be conclusively answered, right? Like, yeah, you can do some investigation, but...
All right. Well, how about this? We'll just confirm. I'll spend one of those clues on, is this a mythos issue? Like, are there signs that this is like a supernatural something as opposed to a firebomb like they're saying it was?
Well, so up there on your horse, you can see that the stone is melted.
Okay. That seems like a pretty solid lead. Okay. I'll spend another one to how many people are hurt or how many casualties do we have? How many people are hurt or dead?
Let me just go ahead and mark this down to Annie's questions. So let's see. That's like, there were multiple on-site fatalities.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So there are a lot of dead people.
And like, well, I'm sure like a lot, but like more than one. It's gonna be the high, or like the.
I'm a teenage power nerd. Like I'm not like a battlefield medic. Like, this is a lot of dead people. Like,
so
more than one dead person is a lot of dead people. Is what I'm saying.
Yes, but yeah, there are medical techs on site treating injuries, and there's what looks to you like you're untrained with your your hard-nosed power nerd eyes, like the equivalent of those like body bags on like a mortician's vehicle.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna bank the rest of these sort of to see how the scene shakes out, and then maybe I'll ask you some questions later.
Okay.
So I got 3 more questions. Yeah, I would just be surveying from above while this happens.
What is Joe doing? So, and somewhere like the bell rings, like the first bell rings.
And instinctively I know in the back of my head.
Right. Your horse tells you, it's your dragon deer tells you that it's time to go.
So right. Here's the other question though, right? Since I'm here and not in school, and I have a theme that's based on being a power nerd that's associated with school, is that cracking? Should I mark crack because I'm not going to school right now?
Yeah, if you're going to ignore the call to school to stay and investigate, then yes.
Okay. I will do that.
All right, Joe's up next, but I need 30 seconds.
Ow. Yeah. You're going to produce some pretty high numbers.
Like, that was exactly your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was like totally exactly my thing, right? Like, this is what I want to do. I want to do this thing. I want to find things out about what's going on with my magical horsey. What were the names of those like hyper-colored animals? Lisa Frank.
Oh yeah, like trapper keepers and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my kitten is colored like a Lisa Frank drawing.
That's horrible.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
So completely 80s.
What kind of drug problem does your horse have?
All of them. All the drugs. All the drugs. Although when you're like in an immortal like dimension traveling luck creature. I don't know if doing all the drugs is actually a problem. I guess.
All right, Joe, where are you when school's starting?
I don't know if I can do this, but like you were saying this, and my initial thought here is that like Joe was hosting a fundraising benefit for the fire department the night before, and they were slow to respond, and is now feeling horrible and further distracting the fire department by saying, "This is my fault, is it? Oh, I'm so sorry. This is horrible."
That's amazing.
And
You ready for your
at least,
condolences.
they're always right there for you whenever you have a problem. What was that? Oh, what is that? I can't.
Strength, inverted strength. All of these have been inverted.
That seems really good, actually.
Like 3 of the 4 that I drew were major arcana. That's weird.
Weakness, self-doubt, and lack of self-discipline.
Yeah, that is incredibly on point.
For reverse.
Yeah, no. You just described all that. So
Way to predict the
Like-
tarot deck.
Working?
The lion's a
and, like,
master of focus, compassion, and self-control. So
basically they're playing on all of that for the fire department. Just like, how horrible is it? Because the police department are always there to support you, and oh, I'd feel horrible if I were about to,
Mhm.
somehow connected to this. I was just trying to be helpful. But yeah, that's what Joe's doing. 'Cause
But in the back of Joe's mind, they're already planning the next benefit for the.
yeah, well, and like, I don't know how much of it is always conscious. They just find themselves always creating problems.
always introducing complication.
Yeah, and like, well, literally showing Discord. So like, moving on a little bit from the fire scene, but doesn't have strong clicks because Joe breaks them all up. If any group starts getting too close to each other, they start creating discord within that group. Like basically getting 2 of them angry at each other, or getting one of them interested in somebody else, and just strong. Like there's not like the Mean Girls clique, because at times they all hate each other, and like the sports guys don't always get along together, but they like other people, and so like I can kind of see as a wrap up in the fire scene, like them going to school a little bit late and just like kind of making subtle comments to like everybody they meet, because they know everybody there, and like they call them by name. But it's like, oh Becky, it's so great that you're talking with Lisa again. You're such good friends. You're always together.
Whether or not that's true, but because you said it's going to be true.
Or even if it'll still be true, if it
Right.
was true.
Yeah, so oh jeez. How do I play off that? We've got I need to brush off my my high school drama
Yeah, I know.
bones, right? Like so I think do you run into Kimmy at this point, or you guys don't go to the same school, right? So it's not gonna work out that way.
Yeah.
So like oh, there was no drama club. What's up?
Oh. No, I just took a picture of the so like no one can see Kimmy because of the mists, but the mists don't really work on us as well. So I swear I take a selfie with Kimmy in the background.
Oh, because are you there at the fire station, or at the police station?
Yeah, they were at the fire station, like being upset over having possibly distracted the firefighters
Right.
and further distracting the firefighters. But like, as soon as people stop paying attention to me, I'm going to move on to school. But I do think I'm going to take a selfie with Kimmy in the background in the air.
Awesome. Okay. Oh no, I did this thing. Stop it.
Hello?
There you go. Yeah, so you've got drama Discord. Like, is there are you winding up, like, are you instigating additional Discord? Like, you just kind of did it wherever you go, but is there more trouble brewing here? So you said you were into the fire station or the police station? I'm sorry, I forgot.
The police station, like talking to the firefighters.
Okay, right. So is there like does like an argument just break out just when you talk to these people? Like one of them is like, oh no, don't worry about it, Joe, like, you know, it's important for us to keep you know, morale up and like be seen, like, you know, the Motorist Club, you know, that was some real good takeout pizza we had or whatever, right? And then,
I think like one of the cops takes exception to that.
Right.
Like, oh, that's where the fuck you were when we were getting firebombed?
And like maybe there's unresolved issues already. Like the cops don't, like, the firefighters are clearly volunteers, right? Because if they need to have fundraisers, right, they're not. I guess they're probably also city.
A lot of the times there's that thing between cops and firefighters. It's a fairly common thing.
So there's already like an additional, like, there are ambulances on the scene, and there is a fist fight, or, you know, brewing between one of the cops who's like got like, you know, like a superficial, like a burn patch on one arm sort of thing, and a firefighter who's got like the overalls but no coat.
Yeah.
Right.
And I am, of course, aghast and horrible about. I feel so bad.
All right. Does Joe do anything else, like when that occurs? Does she like instant like further, like, does she want to be seen as, or do they want to be seen as the hero by calming this down, or do they just start shit and then like walk off, as their namesake is wont to do?
Like, you create the drama, and then like they'll try and soothe it over, like, superficially in a way that's all about them, though. You know, it diverts attention to them, gets everybody paying attention to them, but doesn't really heal the rift that was just created.
Okay. So what do you what do you say to like to wind the to
Well, clearly, you know, I'm gonna make like backhanded compliments, just like, you know, they're doing the best that they can. You know how under budget they are. You guys get all the money. You know, you just have to be careful about that. You know, and they have a difficult job, and you know, I was just there trying to help them, and I feel horrible if, you know, I some way slowed the response to this horrible tragedy. You can forgive me, can't you?
And like at the same time that one of them is like the cop or the firefighters are like, oh no, nobody blames you, nobody blames you. The police is like, yeah, fuck, I blame the firefighters for, you know, never being ready to go. Like, you know, we're always 24/7.
Yeah, no, completely.
Right. All right, cool. So there's that. Does anybody have questions for Joe in that scene? So we've established a number of growing problems in this city where there's already a ton of problems.
We're only at the direct epicenter of a few of them. So.
They're not all entirely our fault.
Okay, so we've established a number of interesting things from Roland and Joe and Annie. Let's get Kimmy. Let's get something questiony about, like, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to relate to this, but let's get some sort of mythos related questions for Kimmy here. Like, do they find themselves wandering down to the lake, or like is somebody missing at school, or did something else weird happen?
Well, something else weird definitely happened, right?
Yeah.
The question is, what else weird happened? So, somebody firebombed the police department. That's kind of wild and crazy, even for Detroit.
So, is there like a major overcompensation that the mist has done? Did something get moved or taken away or changed in such a way that Kimmy notices? Or does Kimmy, like, you know, go in to find their brother, or, you know, like, do they wind up at the police station too?
Let's say that Kimmy realizes that the course of the river has changed, right?
The course of the what?
The course of the river that separates Detroit from Canada has changed.
Okay.
And she can tell that immediately for reasons that she can't understand. But doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's probably changed the entire history of the region, right?
Okay.
So does anyone want to take a guess at what's changed historically for Detroit because of the river moving, let's say, 45 feet to the north?
That's kind of messing with the falls.
Yeah. Maybe the U.S. and Canada didn't quite agree on the border so easily, right? And the skirmishes were a little bit longer, and now there's a neutral territory.
DMZ between U.S. and Canada.
Yeah. I mean, you know, de facto, whichever side of the river it's on, I think the U.S. side now, it would have ended up with the U.S., but maybe there's still bad blood over it.
What, is there like a little Canada town now in Detroit?
Yeah. What's the name of the city that's just over the river?
There's like an island that's an oxbow in the river.
There you go.
And that's like Canada Town.
Yeah.
What's an oxbow?
So, like,
the river diverts and takes a longer course than it used to. That longer course it's the part that's no longer there is the main flow, is the oxbow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A side thing to it.
Yeah, essentially it should be the river cutting a different course, and usually just a river. So I can find a good example. Yeah, and the river keeps going, sort of, but it also, and sometimes can revert to its old course and create like islands or weird eddies or things. And I like the idea that, like, yeah, we use the river as the boundary. Shit, the boundary's everywhere. And then it's like
in the original America, yes, the river was the boundary, but because of that oxbow that happened in the past, there was a longer and more bloody fight over the boundaries of the two countries. And now there is a part of Detroit, and I think it's Windsor, right? Is the city inside?
Mhm.
But there's now a sizable island. Yeah, it's Windsor. Between Windsor and Detroit, that is nominally United States territory, but it's occupied almost entirely by Canadians. And the only bridges that connect it go into the U.S., go into Detroit.
So they have to swim back to the motherland.
So if they want to go back to Canada, they have to drive into Detroit and then drive up to the bridge, the Windsor Bridge.
Okay. All right.
So that defines a part of the city that's unusual, right? There you go.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got a thing that we've defined for everybody right now. I think that's as far as I really want to go without.
Without Andrew, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause-
it's hard to move forward much from here.
Yeah, I'd like to
But-
get.
But it seems like next week will be fairly streamlined with Andrew. He'll do his couple of things. We'll finish our picks, and then we'll do a little bit more of the first session stuff, right?
Yep.
Well, and Andrew's character is also Canadian, right? So
Yes.
I like the idea. I like the idea of him being around while we define like pocket dimension Canada somehow on this island.
I just want to say, like, is his new house over that island?
Oh,
I bet his family are like first generation Canadian that are from there.
hmm
Coping with his newfound Canadianness.
Reality tried to run Canada and didn't quite make it.
Tried to write off Canada.
All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we're gonna call it there, but that's the start. That's where we're at now. We've got a handful of things that we've got from everybody, handful of unanswered questions that certainly point very strongly towards a first case sort of thing.
Yeah.
And a why, right?
And why everyone's character would be interested, right?
Yeah.
Except for the crazy Canadian gold digger. He has no motivation yet.
That's not. I want the opening scene of the next episode to be like some shady character that like with like smoke somehow ethereally trailing off them, walking into Andrew's pawn shop that he works at, and just like dropping something very expensive and valuable that could have only been obtained at a police station on the counter.
Yeah, like a police radio.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine something from lockup or something.
And then Andrew's character's
just
like,
drugs.
who can I make the checkout to?
Uh-huh.
Obvious villain.
Just Victor
Is that
Shadow
just another
Man.
way of saying cash?
So cash, right. Got it.
The ultimate evil.
The real devil's capitalism all along. I like it. All right, we're gonna cut it there. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed. This was exposition session part 2. We're gonna have a part 2A the next time we play. That's just Andrew's to Andrew, and we'll get all those bits and pieces sorted out.
Part 2A.
2A. I like it. If Adam groans, it's a good pun.
It's the opposite. But it's just a pun in the first place.
Do we need a tarot for the crew? No, we don't need a tarot. So yeah, so that was our first little foray into. We've got the characters designed, we got the crew done, except for Andrew's little bits, and we got a little bit of a day in the life. So next time we'll have the first part of the first case, and we'll move on from there.
I would like to point out that the day in our life blew up a police station.
Hey,
That's not
it started out innocent.
That's not
Right.
a day. That's the day.
Right.
Right.
Well, no, that for y'all, it's probably a day.
It's literally just Tuesday.
What happened? Well,
Tuesday.
we started with Kimmy walking down, hitting a chain link fence with her field hockey stick, and ended with Joe instigating a fist fight between police and firefighters.
We're the good guys. Just want to remind everybody.
Just like all the other Wizards campaigns, these are the good guys. All right, thanks, folks. If you enjoy, you can drop us a subscription on Twitch or Bits in the Bucket. You can also find us on other. We have a Patreon, I think. Still, we have all sorts of social medias, Twitters, Facebooks. Come see us on Tuesday. We're going to be playing a game. It might be 5e. It might be something else. I don't know if we're going to do a one shot or what. And then on Thursday we have a interview, and I'm going to get this person's name perfectly correct.
Kira McGrawn, I believe.
That's right. Kira McGrawn, yeah. And then on Friday we have an interview with Tracy Burnett.
Yes, of the one that's making the Ragnamech.
Yes.
Meknarok. Yeah.
And then I think we'll figure out what happens from there. I don't know. I think that we might have something Sunday. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure if my timing allows for it. We will be traveling, so okay. I may not be able to run Origin City, but we'll talk about that here in a bit.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
Night, Internet.
Good night.